Kevin looking very, very thin. This is as thin as I've ever seen you. You look really good.
As thin as I think as I've been in a long time. Honestly, this is the weight that I think I was at when I tricked my wife into marriage 19 years ago. So, and she's been very good. She never over the course of all those years, like as I ballooned and stuff, she was never like, you gotta stop or you gotta change or anything like that. And she doesn't really like make a big deal about it now. Like she's like, oh, you look good, but she's not like, oh, thank Christ.
Right.
Like, I was so tired of fucking a fat man. Like, she still fucks a fat man. He's just not as fat.
So let me. Your health is good now.
Health is wonderful. I had a heart attack, for those that don't follow this sort of thing, about 2 months and change ago, and I had 100% blockage in the LAD artery, which is the big fat one that goes across the heart. They call it the widowmaker because in 80% of the cases of 100% blockage, people die.
What caused it? Genetic or your food?
Well, I asked the doctor that because I was like,
your drugs?
Yeah, believe me, that was the thing I was most scared about. I was like, don't touch my fucking weed. You can make me vegan, but god damn it, don't touch my weed. So I asked the doctors, both my doctors, my new cardiologist, Dr. Leidenheim, and my GP, Dr. Israel. And I was just like, I asked them both about weed. They cleared me on weed, so I was okay on that. But I asked Dr. Leidenheim, I said, like 3 years ago, I lost 80 pounds, 85 pounds because I cut sugar out of my life. So I've dropped a bunch of weight. I'm not nearly as fat as I ever was. I said, I walk a dog up a hill every day. Granted, it's a little miniature dachshund, so it's like fat guy and a little dog. It's comedic to look at, but it's also healthy as well. I said, I can't understand why I would have this heart attack now. And he's like, it's good that you changed your life and stuff, but like that probably kept it from happening a few years ago. He's going 100% blockage. He's going, number one, your genetics play a part in it. What are your parents like? And what's their hearts? And I said, my mom's got 2 stents in her heart. She's got heart condition. He goes, well, there you go. What about your dad? I was like, my dad died of a massive heart attack. He's like, well, there you go. And so he's like, genetically, maybe that's something to keep an eye on. And he said, but the amount of blockage you had, that started in childhood. That didn't come recently. He's going, that's a lifetime of eating. So I was sitting there going, all those fucking Twinkies in childhood. And then I remembered, like, we didn't have enough money for fucking Twinkies. So I was like, all those Little Debbie Swiss Delights of childhood that fucking clogged my veins that I was paying for years later. So he went in there with a stent, opened it up, and like they keep you lucid throughout. You're in twilight, I guess. Like they don't knock you out because I was chit-chatting the whole time. At one point, I was singing the Degrassi theme song and shit to him.
While they're fucking with your heart?
Yeah, and how they get to your heart is through your groin, through the femoral artery. So he's down below. He's in my crotch, and I was singing Degrassi at him.
You're just singing like, whatever it takes?
Whatever it takes.
I like that. I feel like that's your truest you.
It's a hopeful song.
It is.
And if you know that Degrassi, the Next Generation show, it's always sung by a chorus of children.
Of course it is.
Which also sounds hopeful. So I was just singing that to myself.
Men our age probably shouldn't have that in the back of our heads, but I would be in the same boat as you.
I think we should make it less creepy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not about, ooh, teen girls. It's about, hey, man, I don't want to die.
Right.
Middle-aged men. It's a song for teen girls.
Do you want to hear the song real quick?
Well, yes, while we're chatting, sure.
Yeah. See, this is...
Oh, yeah.
Isn't this great? This is going on.
If you were on a table and they're like, you have an 80% chance of dying, this is what's running through my head over
whatever
and over.
Something cheery.
That's how you know you're a good person. You know what I mean? That's
well, I mean, it was either this or Stairway to Heaven. I felt like this was a little more hopeful.
So this is the special you taped that night. You were going to tape too. Well, like last night, I got that little shooting thing in my chest, which sometimes you just get like a little discomfort. Like, is that my heart? Was it like? Did you have any type of a thing before or nothing?
Before, yes. Now in retrospect, last year I did. Call of Duty's got a game within a game, and this one was called Raven the Redwoods. It's a zombie killing game. So they asked me if I wanted to be in it. They always get like a Z-list celebrity to be in it and shit. I think Hasselhoff was before me, and they were like, do you want to do it? And I said, sure. Can I bring Jay? And they put Jay in it as well. So I was a playable character in the video game at one point. Like I was the boss stage. I became like the big boss, and you had to kill me, I think. So the company that makes the game, they were like, can you come play it on Twitch for an hour one day? And I was like, oh my God, that'd be fun. So I don't normally do the first person shooter games. I'm a scroll man from back in the day. Pitfall is my speed. So this, I kind of let him take control, the guy who was in charge. And we went through that game like wicked fast because he's a pretty great gamer. So about 55 minutes into the hour, we were almost done. And I started feeling like really nauseated. Like, and I don't get nauseated. I felt like I was going to throw up. So I was like, hey, man, where's the nearest bathroom? And he's like, we're almost done. And I was like, I know, I'll come right back, but I got to get out to the bathroom. So he says, across the hall. Got out to the hallway, was real staggered, got into the bathroom. First thing I did, and it was like a public men's room and shit. First thing I did, it was so fucked up. I was so overcome, I laid down on the floor. And I remember seeing feet in the stall. And I remember thinking, like, this poor guy is just like, oh, no, here it comes for the suck. The undersuck. He's crawling at me for is that Silent Bob with the undersuck? But I didn't care because I felt so bad. And in that moment, while I was laying there, I said, oh, my God, am I having a heart attack? Is this what a heart attack feels like?
Did it hurt or just nausea?
It was nausea, and it was this weird sensation, not pain of like, ow, but like a complete undoing of who I was. Like I had no thing for it, no diagnosis beyond this ain't right. But in that moment when I was on the bathroom floor, I was like, Christ, is this a heart attack? And I threw up a little, just like I did the night, like years later when I did the show, or a year later when I did the show, the Showtime show. I threw up, and then suddenly I felt 100% better. And so I got up and I left the bathroom, and folks were outside. They're like, you okay? I was like, I felt fucked up, but I threw up, but now I feel better. They're like, oh, you don't play games much, do you? I said, no. They're like, you had motion sickness. And I was like, really? And they're like, yeah, motion sickness is like when you're kind of going through the game. If you don't play it very often, that happens to a lot of people.
Oh, okay.
So, I was like, motion sickness.
Gave you a reason for it.
That made sense. I was like 46, so it can't be a heart attack.
Sure.
Like, wow. But that was the only time I ever thought heart. So when this shit was going on, February 25th, I was shooting the special, and you've shot many specials. It's like you shoot 2 and they combine them into one.
Yeah, you pick the best, sure.
So I shot, the first show was supposed to be an hour, and I went 2 hours. So afterwards, they're like, we'll just cut from there. Fuck the second show. And I was like, I got 2 separate hours for the second show. Let's just do it all. We'll have a record. So between shows, I was in the green room, and Jordan Monsanto, that's Jason Mewes' wife, she runs our company. She was there. She was overseeing, and then she was like, I'm not going to stay around for the second show. She's like, I've heard you talk. And the only other person there was Emily, who does my hair, which is stupid because I wear a hat all the time. But she's great at it. And so she was there too, and I felt ill, and I was like, can you guys like leave? Like, I just don't, like, I feel like I might throw up. I just want to lay down on the floor or something like that. Same fucking thing.
Is there a bathroom nearby?
Yeah, I was like, where's the men's room? 'Cause
I want to lay on the floor of the men's room.
the
It's a
only
long
way
story.
out of this is an undersuck. And that's, I should point out the dulcet tones of Brian Johnson.
Oh,
Yes,
thank
Brian
you.
Johnson's here.
Brian Johnson's here. He hasn't gotten a word in edgewise. Comic book man himself. So I was laid down on the floor, and I, threw up again. Bile, not like bleh, chunky shit, just bile. So I felt a minor better, and then stood up. I was sweating profusely, but I sweat when I breathe, so I didn't take that as a sign.
Right.
And so Emily poked her head in. She goes, are you all right? And I was like, yeah. I was like, can you do me a favor, man? Plug in the hairdryer and just like fucking dry me. Like, just, I'm all sweaty. So she was doing that, and she's like, your fucking neck is freezing. I was like, is it not normally? And she goes, no, you're very normally warm. So I was like, I got to lay down before the next show, man. And they found me a couch. I tried to lay down. I couldn't get comfortable. And then I couldn't catch my breath. Like, I could breathe, but it was shallow. I couldn't hit the top and come back down.
Yeah.
So then I was like, maybe I should sit up. And I sat up in a chair, and I put my arms up to like try to help breathe. I don't, I'm no doctor, but this will help.
Yeah.
And then Jordan comes over, and they were trying to leave me alone. She peeks around the corner, and she's like, you all right? I was like, I feel really bad. I was like, I've never felt like this before. I don't know if I should maybe do the second show. And she's like, we canceled it. And I was like, why the fuck would you cancel the second show? And she's like, I've never seen you be sick. This is scary. So maybe you should see a doctor. I was like, all right. And I said, where can we go? And she's like, it's Sunday. There are no doctors. So we called an ambulance. And I was like, why the fuck would you do that? This is embarrassing. I guarantee you I've smoked too much weed.
Right.
This ambulance going to show up, man. Like this, oh, fuck. And she's like, they're already here. And firemen come first when you call the paramedics. So they came in, 6 brawny-ass firemen, 4 of which were young, and looked at me like, is that Silent Bob celebrating a touchdown? Because my hands were up in the air and shit. And so all of a sudden the medics come in, 2 paramedics, look the same, like Bopsy twins, man and a woman and shit. The guy's like, hey, I'm going to take your blood pressure. How you doing? I said, I can't catch my breath. And then the lady's got this box, got wires in it and stuff like that. She puts it down, she opens it up, and she goes, I'm going to put these leads on you. I said, okay. And I'm sitting in the chair, and this is like 32 pounds ago, but even now I would fucking hate this. she yanks my fucking shirt.
Oh, like a sound person? Yeah, like the worst.
My God.
Humiliating.
And,
you're like,
for
fuck.
a dude who wears layers and spends his life covering his shame.
It's humiliating, yes.
And it was like, there were like these brawny-ass firemen all sitting there, like Jason's wife and stuff.
And
like,
you're sitting, you're not even standing.
Immediately, I was like, this is the worst angle. I yanked my shit down. I was like, whoa! And she's like, I gotta get these on you. I was like, I said, my fucking friend's wife's right there. She's never seen my tits. I said, I never seen my tits. I wear a shirt in the fucking shower. She goes, well, I gotta get them on you. I said, I'll hold my shirt out. And you reach under and then put them on and use my nipples as guideposts. And she looks at the guy. She's like, we ain't got time for this. And the guy's like, yeah, we really got to get to work. And I held the shirt out and she put the shit on. And then she looks at him and he goes, you know what? We're going to take you to the hospital. I said, why? And he goes, because we're so close. He's going, it's so close. We'll take you there just to be sure. He's going, we're seeing things here. And I got an idea, but like maybe somebody better than us should see you. And I was like, oh, man, this is embarrassing.
He tried not to panic you.
That's called keeping stress down way
Totally.
low,
And
nice
he said
and low.
to me as they were taking me out, he goes, you're being real calm, man. That's great. That's what's going to get you through this. And there's a dude behind him who goes, that's what's going to save his life. And I still didn't put it together because I was like, I guess that's just medic talk. You know, because nobody said like you're having a heart attack.
Right.
So they told me, they're like, we're going to get you in this chair over here. Did you ever go to the hospital? He says. I said, well, I visited relatives, but I've never been in myself. He goes, oh, you're going to have fun. He's going, you ever been in an ambulance? And I said, no.
We never grow out of that thing of like being a little kid at the dentist's office. Like you get a lollipop.
Yeah,
after
he
this.
sold me, made it a treat. I'm like, this is going to be fun.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's do it.
You're the star of the show.
Totally. And, I was like, all right, let's do this.
We get to ride real fast.
He goes, we have a chair here. We got to get you in the chair.
They wouldn't let you walk to the ambulance.
They wouldn't let me walk to the fucking chair. So I went to get up, and they go, whoa, stay right there. And I go, I got to get to the chair. They're like, we'll get you there. And that's when he goes, boys, and the 6 brawny firemen come over and picked my fat ass up like it was nothing. Like I was light as a feather, stiff as a board. Picked me right the fuck up, put me down in the other chair, man. Boom. I was like, that was the most fun I've had in 10 fucking years. I was like, if I live through this, I'm going to hire big men to pick me up. Because it was fun. Nobody's picked me up in years. I've been a large human being for a while.
At this point, are you alarmed? Are you like, this is serious?
I'm more embarrassed, and I honestly think that I'm going to get to the hospital, and they're going to be like, you have a lot of mucus built up. Clearly, you've smoked too much weed today. Don't do that anymore. And they didn't, they told the crowd for the second show that I'd thrown up. Well, they didn't tell me I'd thrown up. They said it's food poisoning because they heard that I threw up. Nobody knew what was going on. So as I was getting wheeled out, everyone from the second show was waving and stuff. They're like, "Good, feel better, Kev." And there was one guy doing the finger down his throat universal, I'm throwing up, so, the sign language for throwing up.
Was your shirt still up?
I was like, he's seen my tit. Put that tit away. So I didn't know what he meant. And I thought I was like picking a fight. I was like, you telling me to suck your dick? Like, I'm going to an ambulance here. Something's happening.
It's probably the guy from the bathroom lay on the floor.
He's looking for that undersuck.
I saw you in the stall. So they put me in the ambulance. They bring me to the hospital. I get into the ER. And in the ER, that's where I meet Dr. Leidenheim, the cardiologist. The guy will become my cardiologist. He goes, hey, how are you? I'm Dr. Leidenheim. I said, hi, how are you? And they're already hooking me up to shit. And he goes, we're going to get you upstairs as quickly as possible. He goes, because, it's urgent. You're having a massive heart attack. And
he told you?
Right there in the ER. And I was like, what? That was the first time a term had been introduced. And I was like, what? No, impossible. He goes, yeah, big one. He's going, so we're going to take you upstairs. Got to go up inside you right away. If it's what I think it is, we got to go to work fast. So I'll see you upstairs. And I was like, all right. And I was still
Cool.
not like, what? And tipping tables. I was like, okay. Well, and I still honestly you know how you're like, they don't know anything. Like, yeah, I was sitting there going, like, this cardiologist clearly
this
knows
panicky
nothing.
asshole. So they had you hooked up, you had an IV, and
they started shit on me. And what I didn't know is they were starting me on fucking drugs. Like, I had no idea. Because during the operation, I was lucid and talking.
And are you still sitting there going like, I'm going to be so embarrassed when they bring me up to surgery and realize it's just too much weed?
I'm just smoking with pot.
Yes. I was so like, oh, man, this is going to be so bad. And I'm going to be made fun of by my wife. Because I made fun of her once. Like, she smoked 2 hits off of one of my joints, and we had to call an ambulance because she was like, I'm going to die. And I was like, nobody's ever died from weed. And she's like, you're trying to fucking kill me. She thought I was in on some scam. We got people there. The medics showed up and shit. And they were like, the lady comes in, she goes, "What's the matter? I heard there was an overdose." I was like, "It's my wife. She smoked some of my weed." She goes, "Oh my God." And then she goes upstairs. She sees Jennifer's all freaked out on the couch and shit. And she goes, "Jennifer, is that your name?" Jennifer. She goes, "Uh-huh." She goes, "Jennifer, first off, nobody has ever died from smoking weed. You're going to be fine. We're going to get you through this." She's going, "You know what you should probably do? Eat a lot of fun food, have sex with your husband. This is going to wear off in 3 hours." She's like, "Are you sure? I've got a daughter to take care of." So, I knew my wife would make fun of me for this, but after Leidenheim leaves, guy comes in with a bucket and a shaver, and he goes, "I got to shave your groin." I said, "Why?" And he goes, "That's how they get up to your heart, through your groin, through the femoral." I said, "Okay."
Like above or below?
Below.
The side
The
under the
taint.
balls.
They go inside. That's what I said. I was just like, "Well, wait a
to your
second."
vas deferens.
I said, "What is?" I was like, "I remember that term." No.
Cut the vas deferens.
I said, "Well, what's the groin to you, man?" And he goes, "Because it could be different. Like groin to me is a dick." And he goes, "It's here on the side." And I said, "All right, man." He goes, "So take your jorts off."
Is it where the ball meets the leg right there?
It is. It's
Yeah.
like right. It's the crook. It's like the Ken part of you if you had no
Sure.
dick.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just where the legs meet the fucking torso. So I took off my jorts, but I left my underwear on. And then he goes, "You got to take your underwear off." And I said, "I'm not. I can't do that." And he goes, "We got to shave you." I said, "Bro, they just told me I had a heart attack, and if you make me take my underwear off in front of all these people, I will have a second heart attack, and that one's going to be on you and stuff." He goes, "What am I supposed to do?" I said, "I will pull the underwear off to the side, and you get in there, shave a landing strip or Brazilian me, and then I'll do it on the other side." And he goes, "We ain't got time for this." And I was like, "I can't. I don't know another way to do it."
It's funny. Your body shame is literally making your heart attack treatment.
It's even worse. Like I'm sitting, and that's how shameful I am in my body. That I was like, I'd rather die than like fucking have 13 people in the ER. Probably won't remember me, see my dick. But all I'm thinking about is the one cat in there who's like Silent Bob and Silent Bob's little dick, and he takes a picture, and then I got to deal with that for the rest of my life.
Then you get a lawsuit and $80 million. Please, we all never figure you have a small dick anyway. Who cares?
I need someone like you around me, a consigliere, who will think like that and say like, "Go dick out, dude."
Yeah, I hope it's cold in here. You can sue if they take a picture.
Jim is a penis lawyer. I don't know if you know this.
Somebody who's always thinking
He
about
specializes in dick law.
how to
Exactly.
get around the cock. So they bring me upstairs and they pull me into the OR, and Dr. Leidenheim's there, and he goes, "Why is his underwear on?" And the guy who shaved me goes like, he don't want to take him off. He says he's got body shame issues. And I take over from there. I'm like, "Yeah, doc, man." I'm like, my dick is real small. He goes, "We ain't got time for this." And he grabs my underwear and yanks them the fuck off my body. Just whoosh.
So
Like
you
I was in
realize
a
that's what you've been
70s
hoping for
porno.
all along.
Oh my God. Yeah, I was thrilled. As much as I was happy to get lifted by 6 guys into a chair, I was like, this is the right relationship.
You got Me Too'd as you were going through a massive heart attack.
But then you hear out in the hallway, which one? The guy with the small dick in room 1520.
So they fucking undressed me. He goes through my jersey as well. And I was like,
I love that the jersey is still like the layers are all still.
And well, that is at least I could pull it down to cover my dick, but he wants to go to work there and shit. He goes, "Get his jersey off." And I said, I had the presence of mind to lie. I was like, "No, this is my lucky jersey. If we're going to an operation, I need to wear this." And nobody had the presence of mind to be, if it's so lucky, why'd you have a fucking heart
Exactly.
attack? They just yanked it off, man. Then I was just naked as the day I was born. And the last time I was that fully naked was in the hospital when I was fucking born. So it'd been 47 years.
Are you
and
not
shit.
naked that often?
Never. I'm not
Are you
like
never nude?
never nude. Yeah. I don't have a pair of jean shorts tight like Daisy Dukes I wear, but I'm always clad in something.
Really?
Oh God, yeah.
Even alone?
Although after lately I lost 32 pounds, and my wife, she's like, you take your shirt off very easily now, because normally I would like go in my closet, close the door, and shit like that.
Even around the person you're with, right? Yeah.
Oh my God, she's mentioned it last night where she's here with me in New York. We're going to see Springsteen tonight at the Broadway show. So last night, like we were hanging out, talking like after I did press on the balcony, smoking, and then we both we were like, let's go watch Homeland. We put on I started putting on my PJs. She goes, "This is a good idea," and then she went into another room, put on her PJs, and then we got into bed, and she was like, "So fucked up. We've been like fucking each other for 20 years, and we still go into separate rooms to get undressed. Like we know what each other looks like." I was like, "I know, but like I'm just always worried you're gonna catch me at that one horrible angle where you're like, his tits are bigger than mine," and then she's out the fucking door or something like that. So I had a lot of body shame, man. He got me over it in a fucking quick, fast hurry, and he threw that fucking thing up me. I was on drugs. I didn't know. Like my wife told me afterwards, man. Like I got out of the OR. And she goes, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "I had a massive heart attack, man. But this guy doctor was behind me. I was like, he saved my life. And I was like, it was crazy. I had a great time. And she goes, are you on drugs? And I said, no, they didn't give me nothing, man. I was sober the whole time. And the doctor behind me goes, he was on fentanyl right now. so I
The
was
second I heard that, I was like, I'm going to fake a heart attack.
like, free fentanyl.
Well, I gotta throw up.
I feel sick. So he told me, he went up me, and he goes, yeah, it's what I thought, 100% blockage. He's going, you're fully blocked in your LAD. He's going, we got to do emergency angioplasty, and put a stent in there. I said, okay. And he goes, you're a comic book guy. He goes, you know what they call that artery? The one that's blocked up. I said, no. He goes, that's called the widowmaker. And I said, why? And he goes,
Why?
He goes, in 80% of cases where there's 100% blockage, the patient dies. But you're going to be in the 20% because I'm really good at what I do. And I said, all right, doc, do me a favor. If you can, save my life. And he goes, I'll try. And then he disappeared into my crotch and went to fucking work and shit. And I just laid there thinking about, like, all right, this is that moment you dreaded. Not like I'm having a heart attack, but
Right.
like this could be the end. 80-20 are the worst odds I've ever had going for me in my life that
Sure.
I'm aware of. Unless, there was a time where there was an axe murderer right behind me who got a cell phone call and got distracted.
That you'll
And
never know.
That I'll never know. So suddenly, I was trying to cognitively reframe it and be like, fucking 50-50 is chances of dying every time you walk out of your house. You get
Yeah.
fucking hit by a car, struck by lightning, or trip over a fucking dog that then bites your jugular and you're dying, bleeding out. But I love dogs and shit. So like any way you could go, but 80-20 was fucking higher odds. So I started
How long is
thinking
this
about-
thing taking, this whole process?
To me, it's like, I don't know, 15 minutes. Who knows? But like, because I was drugged at that
Sure.
point in the twilight stage. But I asked him later on, like when I went to see the cardiologist, I was like, how long did it take you to get from up my groin to my heart? And he's just like, I don't know, less than a minute. And I was like, you fucking serious? And he was like, yeah. He's like, that's what I do. He's like, we know how to do it. We're trained.
I guess it's gotta
Go
be
ahead,
fast.
Giggles. I hear something
I was
brewing.
like, the guy in the bathroom, it only took him 15 seconds.
So I sat there, and instead of, I've been chicken shit my whole life, and I always assumed when faced with death, I'd be like, fucking, whose dick do I got to suck to stop this from happening? But I didn't go that way. I didn't fucking I didn't start bargaining with God because I figured God would be like, you made dogma, go fuck yourself, buddy Christ. So I just sat there and instead thought about like my life, and I was like, if this is it, what's your, where are you? What's your, fucking take your pulse, head and heart. How do you feel? And I felt pretty good. Like, I felt really good. I felt at peace. I was totally like, kind of like, wow, if this is the end, like, not bad. Like, you had a good job. You had a good life. Like, you had a great family. You got married. You had a family of your own. Like, I felt more grateful than anything else. I
Right.
wasn't sitting there going like, no, this ain't fucking fair and blah, blah, blah. I was like, if you fucking die at age 47, maybe that's why shit happened to you so early. Maybe that's why Clerks happened at age 22, 23. Like, so that you could enjoy this, and then you were always meant to check out fucking early. And if that's the case, if you're gonna fucking die here on the table, like, don't bitch. Like, if you have to pay the ferryman tonight, just fucking chuck him the 2 bits, get on a boat and go. You had a great fucking time.
So you were pretty calm. You were like kind of resigned to whatever
I was
happens.
so
happens.
like, yes. I was like, hopefully I'm in that 20. This guy seems confident. But if I'm not, if I'm in the 80, like at one point after he told me that, there's somebody in the OR held up a phone and said, your wife is on the phone. Do you want to talk to her? And I went to go speak to her, of course, to be like, oh my God, you'll never believe where I'm at. Because she didn't know. She wasn't there or anything. But then I realized if I take the phone and I start talking to her, that's an admission of like, this could be the last time you talk to your wife. That's why they give you a phone in the OR.
Is it?
Yeah. So I was like, you know what? I said, tell her I'll call her back after the operation. And so, the guy said something, and then I said, what was her reaction? He goes, she sounds mad. And I was like, I'm dealing with my own fucking shit right now.
Yeah.
But at that point, I was kind of like, I thought talking to her would decrease my chances. I thought that would be like, well, here it is. Like,
Our final talk.
yeah, I
How
love
far
you
was she
and
from the
thank you.
hospital?
Like 20 minutes. Like
So
she was
she
home
came,
and
yeah.
I was in Glendale. And so she came like when I came out of OR, she was there. And then she was beating herself up for not going to the show, but she never goes to my show. She fucking lives with me and hears this shit all the time.
Yeah.
So she never really goes to the shows. But
And who
then-
knows, if she went to the show, maybe they wouldn't have called the ambulance. They may have deferred to her.
Exactly.
And she may have said, just lay there.
Yes. Yeah. Knowing her, she would have been like, yeah, lay there.
He's fine.
With gritted teeth. So he went to work and he did it, man. He fucking pulled me out of it and shit. Saved my life. So it was crazy. And the next day, the nutritionist came in and my kid was there. My kid's never lost anybody close to her. She's lost grandparents and stuff, but they're usually on the other side of the country. Like my dad died and she knew him, but she was a baby and that was a long time ago. So this was a big deal. Like it was the closest she's come to like some sort of fucking tragedy in her very privileged life. So she wouldn't leave the hospital. She just fucking stayed there and stared at me the whole time. And when the nutritionist came in, the nutritionist was like, you had 100% blockage. That's bad. It's a lot of cholesterol. I said, yeah, I know. She's going, you might want to think about going plant-based for a diet. And my kid is a vegan. And she immediately shot up and was like, yes, listen to this woman. Be a vegan. And my kid's been trying to, like, she's flipped everyone in the house, like my wife and my in-laws, Jen's parents, Byron and Gail. They've all went vegan, and I was the last, meat eater, animal food product person in the house. And she was never shitty about it. She didn't campaign. Like, she's young. She's 18. She could be 19. But she never, like, tried to beat me into switching it up and shit like that. She'd be subtle. Every once in a while, I'd be drinking milk, and she'd be like, not your mom, not your milk. And I'd be like, what does that mean? She's like, is that grandma's titty milk? I was like, I fucking hope not. It tastes pretty similar. She goes, it's supposed to be your mother's milk you drink. You're not supposed to drink a cow's milk. You stole milk from some baby cow. And I was like, will you go to school? So she was never really that hardcore about it. But when she saw the window, she was like, make him be a vegan. And the nutritionist was like, I'm not going to make him be anything. But like, it's proven that like people have high cholesterol. If you go plant-based and stuff, it just clears up. It starts breaking down and going away. So I figured, I was like, all right, man, I'll try being vegan for like at least a year. 47 years, I fucking ate whatever the fuck I wanted. Let me try a year their way and see how it goes and stuff. So I used to be very happy in this life. Now I'm very vegan. And
you are?
Yeah, so far, man. It's been 2 months since the heart attack. And so far, no animal food products that I know of. Like, I mean.
Is it awful? Or is it.
Honestly,
well, it's worth mentioning. You don't like vegetables or fruit, which makes it really tough.
Jeez.
Yeah, so what do you
That's why
eat?
I never went veggie or vegetarian or vegan, because I'm like, well, I don't like any of that shit. I've found things that are not animal food products that I can eat that still aren't like from the earth, which is like eating
what you
shit
don't
comes
want.
out. Eating shit comes out the ground. Just like,
It sucks. Here's a turnip with dirt on it. Go fuck yourself.
when you go to buy a potato, you're like, this is what it looks like. It's dirty. Somebody
they're
didn't wash
awful.
this before they brought it here.
So what do you eat?
So I'm a real big pinto beans fan. I'm a beans guy, and I realized that like beans are like way high in protein and stuff, and they let you go on beans. They don't bust your balls over beans. They're like, that's healthy enough. They want you to eat, of course, like fucking asparagus and kale and shit like that, and baby steps.
Right.
For me, I was like, let me drop the weight first. Like my GP was like, after the heart attack, she was like, Kevin, you should just lose 50 pounds instantly. It'll make all of this easier. So I was like, okay. So I'm down. I haven't weighed in a week and a half because I've been on the road. But I was last weigh-in, I was down 32 pounds. And
Wow.
So that was the first thing I said. I'll change my eating, and I can't commit to like, now I'm going to eat the greens and fucking all that shit. Slowly, I'll find a way into them and stuff. But I had to figure out shit I could eat that wasn't animal food product related. So it winds up being a lot of fucking pinto beans. Chickpeas became the thing that saved my life. I never ate a chickpea before. And suddenly I did it. I was like, this fucking
I've paid
rocks.
for that.
We like to say women pee. Hate to be dismissive. So,
But you love chickpeas.
love them to death, man. They're fucking
But isn't it
great.
hard for you you can't eat the desserts because you said you're not eating sugar? So a
Yeah.
lot of those fucking desserts are like the almond ice cream is really good, but you can't eat it.
That's the thing. Like I've been going to, I've been in New York. Like I was here last week to do shit. Then I went to Iowa to do shows. Then I came back this week to do stuff and stuff. So while I've been here, I've been going over to Brooklyn to hit Champ's Diner, which is a vegan joint, vegan comfort food. So you get like a meatball sub that looks and tastes like a fucking meatball sub because it's bread and marinara. Big ingredients there, and then they throw a meatball in, and the meatball is covered by the bread and marinara, so you don't necessarily.
It's close enough.
It's close enough where you're not like, oh God, this is
Yeah.
okra or some such shit. It literally tastes like kind of meatball. And then I had a Philly cheesesteak there. My kid was like, try the Philly cheesesteak. I was like, you can't fake that. And they did.
It's good?
Crazy. Yeah, like
It's Champs
crazy
in
good.
Manhattan?
No, it's in Brooklyn, Champs Diner. So there on their menu, they've got a lot of desserts, and the desserts are like, you're like, I'm vegan and I'm already eating vegan food, so if this dessert's vegan, no animal is harmed, it's all good. And then you remember, oh shit, you don't eat sugar either. So suddenly you can't dive into that end of the pool. That's the one saving grace, it seems, of veganism is they don't fuck with sugar. They're like, sugar comes from the earth, that's natural. But for me, I don't fuck with sugar anymore, period, so I don't get the benefit of that. I joined Weight Watchers, and they made me an ambassador, like Oprah and DJ Khaled and stuff. So it's wonderful. And they have this program, it's based on points, right? Where it's like, you got this many points, don't go above this, or you'll gain weight. Keep it below this, you'll lose weight. But they added this thing to it called freestyle, where they put foods that have no point value. So you can eat some of this. If you lived off this list, you would never touch your fucking points and you'd be dropping weight like crazy. I guess it came in demand from a bunch of Weight Watchers customers were like, hey man, give us some freebie food. And they looked at it scientifically.
They just like the act of eating, so you have freebie food you can...
Some free food that doesn't hit your 30, like I got 32 points to play with. And after that, I can't eat anything more for the day.
I mean, yes, celery, fucking carrots.
All vegetables and fruits,
Are
as long
free?
as they're not blended, are zero. But what killed me was chicken and turkey were on the list. And I was like, God damn it, because I love chicken and turkey and shit, and I gave
That's zero?
zero. It's not, I mean, as long, it can't be like, fucking barbecue chicken, because then that's barbecue sauce and shit like that. But just clean, lean turkey or chicken, like without anything on it, zero on the list. Now, if you put salt on it, that's like 1 or 2 points. If you put gravy on it, that's like 4 or 5 points. The more you dress it up, that's where the points come
Yeah.
from. But like being in the last 2 months, what I realized is I used to love turkey, but then I realized I don't love turkey. I love gravy. Like if you gave me a flat out straight up piece of turkey and be like, eat it, I'd be like, well, not plain. Like that's
Right.
too dry. But I like putting shit on it. Same with chicken. I used to think I was a real chicken fan, but I just love barbecue sauce.
Well, you'll have tofurkey this year.
That's right. And there's also I tried at one point to like eat not meat at one point. Not to
Is
be a
tofurkey
vegan.
good?
He's so
I tried
excited about
tofurkey.
it.
I'd rather eat cum out of a sneaker.
And that might taste more like meat as well. Yeah, I tried it once. I wasn't a fan of it. But they've gone very good with this vegan food lately where you get away with eating a lot of shit, comfort food. Now, it's not healthy for you because it's made with oils and fats and shit. But at least you could get a taste of the old things you used to
You just
eat.
eating falafel like crazy?
I'm doing a lot of hummus, man. Like, I've become like Middle Eastern. I eat a fuck ton of hummus.
Try at the Comedy Cellar upstairs at the Olive Tree. They have great hummus and they have really good Middle Eastern food
It's
there.
good up there?
Upstairs, yeah. Really good.
I found you have to find places. No matter where I go now, I always like enter into Google like that city and vegan comfort food. And so Los Angeles is the absolute best. Brooklyn's Champs is fantastic. I was just in Iowa. Nothing there.
No.
But I was. Where was I? Where I was like, are you fucking kidding me? They had a vegan joint. God damn it. Where was it? One of the places I wouldn't. Oregon. I guess that makes sense. I was in Oregon and Washington. They had 2 really good vegan comfort food joints and stuff. So it's out there if you're into that sort of thing. I'm not. A lot of people I've been reached out to by pro-animal organizations and vegan organizations going, hey, you're one of us and come speak. But I'm not like. I don't do it because I'm like, I believe in love of animals. I do love animals, but like, I also love a fucking nice chicken with fucking barbecue sauce.
It's your health you're doing it for.
It's more for the health than anything else. So I don't want to come off as like, I'm vegan by default, really.
It doesn't matter.
Do you still get that, like, I eat a lot of bad food, and, like, I'm used to, after a meal, it's supposed to feel heavy and dense, and I know that I ate, and that's what eating feels like. But I've heard that, like, when you start eating healthy, you don't get that I couldn't even say for sure that I'm eating healthy, but I know I'm eating far less. And I kind of retrained myself to eat, like now I eat like 1 meal a day, if that. Wow.
Some days I try to, like I wake up and I try to get as deep into the day as possible without hitting a meal. Because I used to get like, oh, I'm hungry, it's morning. And, there's so much fucking propaganda about breakfast. You got to eat a fucking breakfast. So I used to work like that. Like I wake up, fucking feed, and then that'll start the day. But the body, Ray Cronies, has a diet program or a lifestyle program called Just Sides, which is all vegetable based and stuff. Like he pointed out, like the body is not. People say, the body's a car and food is the fuel, and that's not really the case. The body is an oil refinery, and the food is raw crude that you shove into the body, and then the body has to process that into usable energy. And if you have too much of it, like sitting around, it just stores it. Like you would store fucking crude oil that you'll get to later on. So my body was just this fucking crude oil factory of stored material that like one day I'll need this energy. So when I started kind of leaning into fasting, the body just started eating all the energy that it had stored for all this time. And so I learned to respond to like the hunger. It's like, it's not hunger. It's a momentary pang that kind of fucking passes.
Right.
And then I'm not really hungry until 2 or 3 o'clock. So I try to make it as deeply into the day as I can. And that's how the weight's been kind of coming off.
Yeah, you look really thin, man.
You look great. I saw you in the hallway before I came in. And
Thank
like,
you.
number one, you lost it years ago. I was always so impressed by that. But that you kept it off. That's the thing. Like
That's what
right
everybody
now,
says, I
it's
guess.
so nice when people are like, you look great. But in the back of my mind, there's a fat guy that's like, it's only for a while. Because
Yeah.
I'm going to get to that fucking buffet again, and we're going to look the way we used to.
Yeah, it's hard. But
It's
I guess
tough.
if your health is at stake, you got to fucking do it.
That's the one thing this time around that feels different than any other time I've ever tried to lose weight. I'm like, now you're playing.
There's a gun
for
pointed at
keeps.
you.
Yeah, but before it was more about vanity or ego. Like, oh, I'm going to look like a fat piece of shit.
Plus, it's
now I'm
almost
like,
like-
I don't want to die.
And you were in the 20%. You're gonna waste it now. You
know what
got
I'm
to be
saying?
the 20.
There was this beautiful woman, dude, who I did Good Day New York, and before I went in, she was like, "Can I take a picture?" She was taking pictures and stuff, and she got it wrong a few times, so we kept taking pictures, and the Good Day New York people were like, "We got to go." We were running late, so after the segment was done, I came out, and the lady was there, and she's like, "I watched your segment." She's going, and I found out your background. She's going, it's amazing that you live. She's going, you're going to live a long time. And I was like, how do you know that? And she's like, I know things like that. I'm spooky like that. She's going, but like what you went through, you're going to be here a long time. I was like, I don't know. I bet you I bought myself like maybe another year. I bet you, I don't know if this is going to be forever. She goes, no, you're absolutely wrong. You're going to go on. You're going to do great things. Like it was so random and wonderful in New York where some stranger, and she's not, like I meet a lot of strangers who are like, fucking Silent Bob, or like, I love the podcast. But this is a motherfucker who don't know who the fuck I am other than like I took a picture, and she gives you that like read. Like it's better than her being, well, I would have loved it if she was like thinner, because I was like,
Yeah.
I'm on my way. But like
I
it's
die
not-
with it in my mouth.
but to have a stranger just be like, hey man, like you're gonna do well, is always a nice thing. It's one of the things you love about New York.
But not to kill the niceness of that. But you know, in fairness, 15 minutes later, she was probably around the corner shitting against the building.
If she was, I'm gonna tell you that. Look, even a wizened soul has to shit sooner or later, so can't hold it against her.
So the stand-up special premieres next Friday, May 11th at 9 p.m. on Showtime. Silent but Deadly. So
Great name, by the way.
yeah,
It was the name of the
awesome.
show before the heart attack. So, you know, it was just playing off
Perfect.
Silent Bob, and then also, you know, fart joke. free
Farting
fart
and a
joke.
heart attack.
And then after the heart attack, I was like, oh, we got to keep it as
Perfect.
Silent but Deadly.
At what point did it occur to you that like this would have been my final work?
So weird you say that. It still hasn't really landed. They told me when I left the hospital, they're like, you may run into a bout of depression. I said, why? They're like, heart attack victims, it happens to a lot of them. Like sooner or later, the mortality event catches up to them and it hits them in an emotional or psychological way. And I was very interested in that because, like, you know, the whole thing to me is like, this is a ride. Let's see where it goes. And I've never been depressed. So I'm like, what would that be like? Like a depressed version of me. So I was
It's
waiting.
awesome.
Well, I mean, I know what others' depression's like, but I was kind of curious what would be my blues? Like, where would I go and shit? So it never really kicked in. You know, I didn't have the depression bout kick in. So I was kind of like bummed by that. But what was the original question?
This was your final work. Like that.
So they say the reason you have the depression is because you're like, oh my God, I almost died. And I definitely have had moments where I was like, well, I was fucking close. Like, imagine if it didn't go the way it did. Like, I'm out there now. I turned it into a pithy fucking anecdote and a bit. Like, it becomes fucking fodder for the material for the show. And you go on with life and stuff. And but every once in a while when I think about it, I was like, wow, that's fucking close. But immediately the other side, the rationalization side, cognitively reframes it and goes, you're close to dying every moment of your life. Like, don't treat this any more special.
Right.
Like, for some reason, my one side of my brain won't let the other side of the brain revel in it.
it all could be your final work.
That's what I always feel like.
Right.
So, but I did, as I cut the special, because, you know, it was 2 hours and we had to cut it down to an hour. So I went through it and I was like, I'm going to lose this story. And as I'm watching it, I was like, if this was the final document, like, not bad. Like, I'm not saying the show's that great, but I was
Yeah.
like,
You'd be okay with that.
I was okay, especially considering, like, at least there'd be something. At least my last work wasn't Yoga Hosers, you know? It was that. It would have been that. That was the only thing I thought when I was on the table. I was like, I really don't want to die because the last movie I made was Yoga Hosers, and I want to make Jane Silent Bob reboot. So at least I go out on that note and shit. But so for me, like it was, I don't know. As I watched it, like I was like, if I died, I would have been okay with this.
That
like,
being your final piece.
yeah,
of,
like there's
material.
funny shit. It's about family. Like I talk about my family a lot. And the work, like it's a real nice encapsulation of who I am / was. So if I died, I would have been okay.
We have 1 minute left.
Speaking of your movies, real quick, while we have a minute, I was just thinking, like last night, I saw that movie Tusk when it came out. I haven't stopped thinking about it.
It's a
Like
weird
it just
fucking flick.
stays with you.
That movie
It
exists
just-
because of the man to my left, Brian Johnson, years ago. Like in the middle of, I made Clerks, then Mallrats, and Chasing Amy. Was it after Chasing Amy that you guys shot Vulgar, or after Mallrats? After Chasing Amy. So after Chasing Amy, like I gave Bri, I was always pushing Bri into making a movie, or particularly back then, making a movie, because that was the thing I did and it worked. And I was like, I wouldn't have made my movie without Bri. Bri is the Randall character. Without Bri, there would be no Randall in Clerks. So I said, you got to fucking make a movie. And one day he decided to make a movie, and it was this movie Vulgar. It's called Vulgar. It's about a clown who gets raped by 3 guys. It's crazy exploitation movie. And I remember when I saw the flick, I was like, God damn it. Like he made the movie, not the exact movie, but he made the kind of movie that I wanted to make. Like I wanted to be that filmmaker. Believe me, I'm happy to be the one I became and stuff, and Clerks worked out. But like I love underground. I love like fucking Edge. I loved like the idea of he made this modern day exploitation movie and shit. Cult film. Like the highest compliment we could pay a film back in the day was, that's fucked up. That movie's fucked up.
Yeah.
And he made a fucked up movie, and I wanted to make a fucked up movie, so I eventually made Tusk. That was because of Brian.
So
Great
Kevin,
stuff.
the show is ending. That Kevin Smith on Twitter. Brian, thank you for coming. You didn't get to talk too much, but I'm happy that you came in anyway. It
some
was nice
lines
to
out.
see you. It was funny. Kevin, I'm happy that you're here.
And thank you so much. The lines he had were good, right?
Yeah, they were.